Live. What's up, Hacksters? Welcome to Teardown Tuesday. It's going to be a pretty simple teardown today. I did my broadcast yesterday on using the Hallowing with the Matrix voice and the chirp service to send data over audio to your robots and be able to control them that way. And it was working really well up until about 10 minutes after the broadcast, at which point, now, suddenly, nothing recognizes these chirps anymore. And in some cases that's due to the fact that the controller isn't capable of transmitting or producing those signals. Sometimes it has to do with the speaker. And in this case, I have no idea because it was working 10 minutes earlier, as you saw. And if you haven't seen that, you should check it out. So one thing that I'm going to try and do is replace the speaker and see if that was the problem for some reason. If like some weird thing happened to it. And to that end, I'm going to take apart this pair of Koss PortaPro headphones. These are missing their foam ear covers, and that's basically why I'm taking them apart, because the ear covers that make them comfortable to wear started crumbling after a couple of years and left all this black lint on my hair, which is not great. And now I just like pulled that off and it's totally uncomfortable. But they do have really nice quality speakers, which I can use in projects. Not only that, but they have this nice long headphone cable. And anyone who's built a fair amount of wearable tech will tell you that having flexibility in wiring is really nice. Having even just like a TRS tick spring sleeve socket like this, where you've got 2 channels of audio and then the sleeve is ground. That's what TRS stands for, tip ring sleeve, is really nice if you have 3, for example, even NeoPixels have 3 wires going to them, and you could use a headphone jack to connect to multiple ones. In fact, that's something I plan to do at some point. And the wire is really nice. It's designed to be flexible and durable and good for wearing. These headphones have a pretty cool design, so not only do they work as headphones, but you can sort of fold them up like this, and they hook together so that they'll fit in your pocket or bag really nicely. There isn't great cable control in this mode, but it's still a nice way to design something such that it's wearable and also quite portable. Another cool feature about these headphones in particular for comfort is that they have a mechanical switch that helps you set your desired tension on the headphones. And I forget how that works, so I want to take it apart and have a look. There's another thing that I'm curious about here, which is this screw. Now, it's a real screw, and it really goes into something on the other side, but it doesn't appear to have any kind of a function. So I'm going to see if I take it off, if anything falls apart. So let's try that really quick, just as a starting point. Gotta get my screwdriver to go together first. What? It's one of these reversible ones, but it's not reversing. That's very strange. What about my other one? Everything is falling to pieces. I mean, in this case, we're making something fall to pieces. Okay, so let's take this apart. It's not even really a real Phillips screw, it looks like, because it doesn't have indentations. I mean, it has indentations, but there's nothing sunken down in the middle. And Phillips screws, you know, have a point. It's not just flat across at the end, which leads me again to believe that this is probably just a decorative screw designed to look neat and not really do anything. Then there's this little heat set thingamajig on the other side. I don't think it's doing anything. I think that's just for decoration. Likewise with these little metal bits. But I mean, decoration is valid, right? These are held on in place by a little snap-in mechanism, which is quite nice looking. Actually, maybe there's a metal rod or something. I don't see anything though. I think it's just snap-in. If I pull it apart, what happens? Oh, yep. So it can rotate not only side to side like this, but also on this connector here, there's a bit of wiggle room vertically as well. So that's why you can get this sort of like all-around rotation effect. It's nice that there's two of these. That means that A, if I mess up, it's not a huge deal, and B, there's two to demonstrate on. Yeah, I'm not going to try and use these ever again. I'm just gonna co-opt the speakers and the wire for use in other designs. So let's pull this other one off. Yeah, and this still is kind of a cool mechanism that might be part of a robot or something at some point. I mean, look at that. There's this great, imagine this is little robot legs, like, pew! Yeah. Oh yeah, let's see how this tension mechanism works. I'm really curious about that. If I just pull this off. It looks like this maybe just is snapped together. You know what I bet? Often with electronics and other such things, you'll have screws hidden underneath stickers or padding or stuff like that. And do I feel something there? Yeah, here. Is that a screw or is that just an indentation? Oh, there's one. Haha. Is that the only one or is there more? I promised us a solar flashlight teardown today, but Maker Faire is eating my life, so I want to get this done. But next week we'll have the solar flashlight teardown. It'll be great. Okay. Oh, maybe it's just riveted in place or grommeted. Huh. All right. So, does this fit? It does not fit. Let's grab some other pokey thing. Here we go. Thinner screwdriver. And I'm gonna poke through. I think that's the little metal sticker on the other side. Yeah. Comfort zone sticker. And we've got this little, I'm not sure what you would call that. It's not a rivet or a grommet. It's like a little metal insert. But there's also, over here, some form of, whoops, some form of tab that I think if I push it in, that should help this whole thing snap apart. Ah. Come on. Oh, you know what? I bet the metal is meant to be some kind of permanent hold-together device. Yeah. If I do this, can you see anything move? No. Well, then I'm still gonna brute force it apart. Sorry. Just get in there with that. Let's get a stronger one in there, actually. There we go. Ooh. Yeah, so if you have some cheap headphones, I actually have another pair of super cheap headphones from an airplane in my bag that have, nonetheless, a quite nice little cable on them. So I'm going to use those as well. And it's blue. Now, I don't understand. I think that in the past, when I used these, this switch would actually stay where it was put. So if you kept it on light tension, it would stay on light. But now it's just going straight to firm and not staying anywhere else. Which, you know, even before you disassemble it, on both sides. Which is strange. And of course you've got this hinge here as well. Oh, hey! If you pop that out, it just completely... Why does that not do it on the other side? Oh, it does. Oh, weird. Huh. Let's get this apart. I'm really curious now. I'm just gonna ignore this whole fact that I'm brutally deconstructing it. And this is probably going to mess up the mechanism as well, but at least I'll be able to look at the parts of it. That little metal thing is really cramping my style. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there's that tab that's designed to hold it together. Yep. And actually the mechanism is still intact. So let's have a look. What is it supposed to do is the question. Oh, it's a little graduated slider. Okay, so see how there's this tall part over here and it sort of slopes down from the left side to the right? We'll take this apart a little bit more in a second, so it might be easier to see. But when we're over here on the left, at the firm tension spot, the plastic is basically right up against the metal. But if we're over here at the light tension spot, there's a big gap between the two. See? So that must have to do with it. And what exactly that changes, I'm not sure. Let's see over here. If you were to increase the tension on this thing, push it inward. And if you were to decrease the tension, you'd just have a little more. Oh, now it stays on light. Now it won't go away from light. Wait, does that have to do with the... Maybe it's the earphone tension. I see, okay, so it's the grip of the earphones. And then if I move this inward a little bit, it snaps in one, and then snaps in the rest of the way. Cool! So you'd have to reset that every time you unfold your headphones. But that's kind of a cool little mechanism. It's very satisfying to play with. And that's going to actually work even when I disassemble the whole thing. Neat. So, what time is it? 3:23? I think I need to move on with this. So that's enough cool stuff about the mechanisms of that device. And little decorative bolt thing. Whatever. I think they're meant to look sort of high-tech and stuff. I got these in the first place because I was looking on the internet for some headphones that were, you know, decently inexpensive and also quite good. And they do have very good sound quality. Here we go. They do have very good sound quality. Sometimes there's a couple issues with cutting the wires from speakers like this. So I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to do this with scissors. So there should be 2 wires inside of here. And usually the ones inside of headphones are extremely tiny. And what may also happen is that, oh, it's flexy enough that, there we go. So there's a little sort of shielding fluff in here, which I think, I could very easily be wrong, but I think that this is just to give it more tension protection so that that doesn't stress the wires. If I'm wrong on that, definitely tell me. The nice thing about it is that it burns away really easily. There we go. Oop. And these little wires are insulated with enamel coating on them. And they may also have some of that little stuff inside. But if we want to solder to these, we're going to have to burn that off. And sometimes use some sandpaper as well. It can be a real pain. This doesn't have incredibly tiny wires, which is nice. Sometimes the wires are just so small inside of especially cheap headphones that it's really hard to solder to. And in that case, you don't get the benefits of using headphone wire, which is so flexible and nice. Where's my sandpaper? Got this like one grody piece of sandpaper that I'm using for everything. Don't want to be too rough with these because they will get damaged. And I gotta keep them separate now. And I don't remember which wire is which, but with speakers it doesn't really matter, since they're oscillating at incredibly high frequencies. And it's the oscillation that makes the sound happen, not any directional movement. Oh no. These got twisted together somehow. Separating them manually. There we go. Now I'm going to twist them up again. Cool, those are separate. I should probably have stripped these a little longer so that they would be more separated. In fact, I'm going to do that. Let's cut these again. You get sharper side cutters. Okay, so I'm going to strip more of it this time. Gonna burn this off so that it's out of the way. And I'm just gonna burn the ends of these. Cool, I mean, close enough. Do a little bit more sanding. This is the part that, you know, I'm gonna see if I can tin these without sanding, because that seemed to really make them fray last time. And in the meantime, oh, yeah, you're still on, aren't you? Let's turn that off. Halloween has a nice off switch. We'll give it that. Yeah, I'm not sure why it sounds the same to me. It's really bizarre to me that it would, like, I haven't reprogrammed it, I haven't changed any of the audio files, and yet all of a sudden neither my Raspberry Pi nor my, you know, I'll check it again on the Raspberry Pi and just make sure. Yep, nothing. And yet, when I use my phone to send the chirp, it does work. If, for example, I say blue. Oh, heh. Oh, you know what? I changed it to emoji, so let's see. How about this heart one? Yeah, it recognizes it. If you say cheese, goes to yellow and then off. So yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. I don't get why these problems are happening. But okay, so let's desolder this speaker from there. It's off. Cool. Clean up the pads a little bit. Let's try and tin this one. Yeah, that's not interfacing really at all. If I apply more heat, will it? Not really. Let's try the sanding again. That worked a little better. A little better. I may still not end up with great connections. It seems worth a try. The other thing that I could do, there's a little bit of tinning happening. What I could do is figure out which channel the other headphone is on. Actually, I wouldn't even have to do that. I could just solder both. This is pretty special. Let's try with these globs and see if we get any sound out of it at all. I could try soldering directly to the audio jack is what I was, or plug, is what I was mumbling about a second ago. A little bit of a short there. Just make sure that that's not contacting the pins on the hellowing. Okay, this may or may not be a good connection at all. Let's see. Okay, I do get sound out of it. And it sounds a little less, what's the word? A little less bad, let's say, than last time. So I'm opening the Chirp app on my phone, and I'm gonna see if it will recognize this. Nope. Okay. From this, I'm going to conclude that something about uploading these files onto the board and then turning it off and on again has like reformatted them somehow so that it's just not really working anymore. And I'm not sure what the issue is, but I will check that out later. See if I can fix this. If not, I can always send chirps to the robot from my phone, which isn't as cool, but what can you do? Alright, thanks for watching. Have an excellent rest of your Teardown Tuesday. Let's see if there's any comments before I close this up. Wire polarity does matter with speakers. It depends. Like, if you're just hooking them up, usually you can switch the wires around and it doesn't really matter. Like, it basically, it's going to oscillate, right? And either applying power in one way is going to, like, pull the speaker cone toward the electromagnet or away from it. And that's what creates the oscillation. And so, usually it doesn't matter if it's going toward or away from the speaker, because unless it's like for general audio, right? You're just going to hear the same thing whether it ends up close to it or not. Going live with any Arduino projects soon? That's a good question. I should, yes, actually. In a couple weeks, at least, you know, ideally before then, but in a couple weeks, definitely. I have a new device from Pi Supply that is their new LoRa Arduino node device. Alright, thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your day. Hack on.